Hi everybody, it's great to finally meet all of you and to join the Booktube community. So I am going to be doing my first video as the Booktube Newbie Tag. So my name is Preston, but you guys can call me Presson. It is a play off of my channel name, and sadly it requires a lot more iced coffee than I have right now to explain. So because it is almost July, it's kind of crazy starting not in the new year, but I guess it's better late than never. So with that, I'm going to get started on the questions. The first question is, why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I love to read and I love to critique and I love to review books, and I have always wanted to be able to do something where I can put my love of reading and my love of, I guess, entertaining people to some extent and making them laugh or making them smile or cheering them up. And to me, I felt like doing Booktube would be a great way to do both, because it allows me to do two of my biggest loves, primarily obviously being reading. The second one is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I have an acting background, so I've been acting all throughout grade school, middle school, and high school, aside from reading, for a very long time as well. So I have a very big, expressive, and bold personality, and I like being able to make people laugh and smile, as I said earlier. So I wanted to be able to do something creative and put my own spin on things, since I know that there are so many different booktubers out there and they all have their own unique personality. I want to make sure that I can make my channel, even if it's not super different, I want it to make it somewhere where people feel like they can come on to and they can watch something and they can feel part of the family, I guess here, and just feel welcome and at home. So yes, that means we here, I guess, not really we, just me, are at least on this channel, it's inclusionary to everybody. So anyone, it doesn't matter your race, gender, sexual identity, or religion, I want all of you to know that you guys are welcome here. And anyone who is racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, and all the other phobics I cannot remember right now are not allowed. So please see yourself out the door and do not come back, because I want it to be a happy place here where people can come and talk about books and enjoy. So the third question is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? I guess I'm most excited about being able to put my own spin on things and to be able to follow through on some of the readathons and some of the challenges, whether they be posted by another booktuber or I make for myself. I feel that it's going to be a lot of fun being able to do all sorts of different things and take you guys along my adventures and be able to read lots of things and read stuff with you guys and hopefully collaborate with some of my favorite booktubers one day. Alright, why do I love reading? I love reading not only for the escapism, but I love it because I'm able to learn things from it. So primarily I love to read mainly because of the escapism, it's true. However, learning things, it doesn't always have to be a skill, like how to get up early or how to sew a blanket or even how to fold a paper crane. It could be anything from what kinds of morals mean for different people. It could mean what truly is the version of good and evil, and if it depends on the person. What does it mean to play God? Or what does it mean to truly have, I guess, what human rights are and how they are different for each person. And for the fundamental ones, what it means if it's being taken away from a person, or how it is to push back against those who create true darkness and are against all that is good, and who take away the people or the things of people that are innocent and that are deserving to stay in the light. So it's a lot of different things, and I think that it's really important to be able to learn different things or hear a different story from another person, even if it isn't the same person, or if they're not the same gender or religion or even the same race as you. It's important to be able to learn from many different styles and personalities of writing. Number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? I would have to say that it would have been The Chronicles of Narnia, as in, yes, all 7 books by C.S. Lewis, when I was about 10 years old. So I guess that puts me at 4th grade, I guess, by American standards, I think. What questions would I love to ask my favorite booktubers? I guess the first question would probably be to Cindy. Hi, Cindy. And the question would be, how do you always stay such a badass? And how you always have so much salt, even if you've said on your days where you aren't feeling your best, or if your depression is really hard, how do you continue to push through it? How do you get past it in order to get the stuff you want for your followers, as well as just completely just annihilating every just thing of humor? It's just, you just blow everything out of the water. The second question would be to Chloe from Books with Chloe, and the question to her, well, technically I guess it's 2 questions. The first one would be, how do you always look so flawless on camera? Because it's just like, even when you have had your like 24-hour readathons where you take off your makeup and you're just like still just like flawless, and I'm just sitting here going, what? I guess the second question would be, how did you, or do you have any tips on how to partner with some of the publishing houses in, I guess, Australia? So I guess, is there any tips you would recommend for us in America? Just because it would be really awesome to be able to collaborate with some of the publishing houses like you have, and from what I've seen on your channel, and I think it would be just amazing to be able to do, and just a complete dream. For, I guess, my last questions with, I guess would probably go to Jessie. They are amazing. I think they're super cool. I haven't quite like watched all of their videos yet, but I'm very much looking forward to continuing on watching. I guess my question to them would be, when you first started, were you ever nervous on trying to figure things out, or was it something that over time you got more used to, or are there times where you are still nervous making a booktube video, or are there times where you feel more confident than others and you can just kind of brush it off your shoulders and you just keep going? So I guess they're that for the 3 of them, because they are, as of this moment, they are my top 3 favorites for sure. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, I'd probably have to say 2 things. The first being that I am not very, I guess, familiar with filming, editing, and the technical side of YouTube. So it's just going to be figuring all those things out and trying to build on my skill as time goes on. And my second thing would probably have to be imposter syndrome, just because it's that thing of trying to get through that whole premise of, oh, well, am I even good enough? Is there something I'm not doing right? Well, everyone's better than me, etc. And so I want to make sure that when I do go to continue doing these things, I want to make sure I guess figure out the best way to keep doing it, because I know imposter syndrome is something that exists, and I guess that's probably one of my bigger things, I guess, internally versus externally, being the technical part of YouTube. All right, the 8th one is, when did you start reading? When did I start reading? I started reading when I was really, really little, so I had people reading to me, or we had different things in school we had to read. However, it wasn't until about probably 4th grade where it really started to kick in and I really wanted to start reading on my own for myself. There were different challenges we would read throughout the year in elementary school, and so if you read a certain number of pages, you would get either a little ticket to Pizza Hut, or you could get bigger prizes, and one of the biggest prizes one year was getting a gift certificate to a bookstore. And so I tried my very, very hardest. However, I came in 3rd compared to 2 of my classmates, who I swear one of them, the one who came in 1st, literally did not sleep, and all he did was read. And I just went, how? Let's see. The 9th one would be, where do I read? So I mainly predominantly read in my room, just because I'm able to close my door. I don't have to have anything playing in the background if I don't want to. I can regulate how much light's coming in, if I want to have a candle, if I want to be drinking something, or if I want a snack or whatever, or if I really want to be able to have any music on. It's probably going to just be lo-fi beats or nature noises, and I mean lo-fi isn't like the kind without any lyrics, just because I want to make sure I'm able to immerse myself into the story and I'm not having to worry about dealing with the confusion of trying to listen to an actual song with lyrics versus when I'm reading. Now, if I'm listening to an audiobook, and yes, listening to audiobooks counts as reading, and if you do not believe that, we do not stand for you in this house, so you can see your way out the door as well. It's that whole thing for me where I just feel that it's easier to do if you're walking around, in the sense where if you're exercising, if you're driving to work or in your car, if you're doing chores around the house, it's just easier instead of having to physically hold a book as you're walking around, because obviously you don't want to tear a page or ruin the dust jacket or etc. So mainly just reading in my room is probably my preference. However, if it's not in my room, I would probably say using my audiobook to listen as I'm doing other things, and then if I have an extra choice, would probably be in a coffee shop, just because then I get to have my coffee and I get to have my book. So it's the perfect meeting point in the middle. All right, the last question is, what kinds of books do you like to read? So I like to read a lot of different things. Predominantly, I like to read YA, fiction, some adult fiction depending on what it is. I like to read fantasy. I like to read, I guess I'm getting more into contemporary, I guess. Very slow, though. It's not like, I sadly don't have a whole giant stack sitting in my room right now, so if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to be able to see your suggestions. I like really reading historical fictions. I've been getting more and more into them. It's been a slow process, but I guess within the past, for some reason, 7 months, I've just been like, I want to start looking for more and finding the right ones I find really fascinating. So there's those. I'm really looking forward to reading a couple. Specifically, I guess the few that I'm really looking forward to be reading would probably have to be Hidden Figures and Boys in the Boat. And then the last one is probably, I guess, rereading The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, just because I had read it when I was younger, but rereading it again right now I think would be really, really wonderful to read. I'm also a really big fan of comics and graphic novels and manga, so I eat those up a lot. It's not just because, oh, it's a quick read. Some of the stories are very, very inspiring, and I love them. They can be funny, they can be sad, they can be tons of action, they can teach you something, etc. So it's a lot of different things. I like them also just because it's one of those things where if you are reading a manga or a graphic novel, it requires a lot of attention, but it doesn't require, I feel like, the same amount of attention as if you're reading a physical hard copy book. And the only reason why I feel like that is because obviously you have pictures, so it helps, I guess, move things along, and I guess it helps translate in your brain a little bit faster to understand. So if you end up having to pause for a moment, you are able to have an idea of where you're stopping. And one of the things I'm starting to get more into, or two more things, I guess, would be suspense / thriller and mystery novels, because I really like mystery novels. I find them to be very fun. Not to mention, there are some thrillers I'm really looking forward to reading. Gone Girl would have to be one of them. What is it? It's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is another one. Yes, I know it has been out for a while. It is a long story. Need more coffee for that too. And there's one other, but my brain is blanking. However, it's just, I've always thought that they're really interesting, and for some reason, they can sometimes be, at least for me, scarier than some horror novels. I think it's just because in horror novels, you can kind of assume that the other, even if it's like a metaphor for something else, is still just the other in the story, and it's a fictional monster or demon, etc. However, if it's a suspense or a thriller, normally they're either based around a criminal or they're based around something that could actually happen, which makes it a lot more terrifying. And I think that is about it. But I just wanted to say thank you all so much for listening, and I cannot wait to come back with my next video very soon and to spend more time with all of you. Alright, bye everybody!